on?
Yep.
All right. Good evening. Tonight, Kim and I, mostly Kim, will be showing you how to make some Super Bowl snacks.
Some appetizers.
This is really exciting to me because I like watching football and basketball and different sports, but there's nothing like the Super Bowl. And the reason it's so exciting is because all of the delicious food, the comfort food. And so this is what we're going to be making tonight.
You know what happens? People start out with Thanksgiving and they say, well, they'll start plant-based after Thanksgiving because of the turkey. And then after Thanksgiving, it becomes Christmas and they get into the holidays and they'll say, oh, I'll start after, and the New Year's, and then Super Bowl Sunday starts. So you can be plant-based and enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. So the other thing, we put a mic on the phone so that we can make sure you can hear us, because I know I have a soft voice. So if for some reason you can't hear us, let us know. We'll pull the mic off if it's staticky or anything like that. Nelson and I are not terribly high tech, so do we have people on, Whitney or Laura?
Yeah.
So what are we making tonight?
So tonight we're making the cauliflower buffalo bites from the PlantPure Nation cookbook, and then we're going to do the spinach artichoke dip because it happens to be our filmmaker's favorite appetizer. It's not in either cookbook.
You're talking about Frank?
No, I'm talking about Laura.
Oh.
That was last week.
All right. So she's talking about our
daughter is behind the camera, so
camera
she won't
person.
come in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to start with the cauliflower buffalo bites. Really easy recipe, and lots of flavor, and it's actually one of your favorite recipes. So.
Yeah, we really didn't go plant-based until maybe late teens or around 20, and didn't really get good at it until early 20s, I guess, maybe.
After the kids were born, we got really good at it.
And you know how it is when you're in college, it's hard to stay on the wagon sometimes. So we all remember, for those of us who weren't born plant-based, we all remember the chicken wings.
Oh, yes.
The red hot chicken wings with dressing, and I loved that. And I still remember when I came home from work one day and you were all excited because you had made this recipe, and I tried it and I thought I was going to cry. It was so good.
And every time I ask you what you want for dinner, you always say, could you just whip up some of those cauliflower bites? So I only make about 4 or 5 times a year, so this is special for you.
Yeah, this is a little harder to make, but it's worth it because these are fantastic, and the dressing on this is unbelievable.
Yeah, we're not going to make the dressing, but I'll explain to you how I make the dressing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a plant-based milk in here. I happen to use soy milk. You can use any milk that you enjoy. So I put a plant-based milk in here. And then a cup of flour, whole wheat pastry flour. Don't get that confused with whole wheat flour. You can do whole wheat. It just won't come out as, I don't think it comes out as runny. And this is what whole wheat pastry flour looks like. You're almost making like a pancake batter. And then you're going to add paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. All of that is in the link that's on the Facebook Live Facebook post. And a little bit of pepper, black pepper. If you want to use smoked paprika, you certainly can do that. I use a lot of smoked paprika, and it goes really nicely with this recipe. This is going to give it sort of the red, nice sort of chicken wing kind of look. And then nutritional yeast flakes, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of those. And that's really all there is to it. Garlic powder, onion powder, a cup of milk, a cup of flour, and you get this really nice batter. I don't know why I don't do this more often, Nelson. It's really not hard. But now that he's learning how to do it, you can make it. I don't think you've ever seen the whole process. So then you take your cauliflower and you break it into bites about different sizes. I mean, you don't want to go a lot smaller than something like this. But buffalo wings are all different sizes, so I did them in all different sizes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to literally put them into the batter. If you use whole wheat flour and not pastry flour, it'll get a lot thicker than this, but that's actually a nice batter. And if you're gluten-free and you don't want to use flour or wheat flour, you can certainly use oat flour. It works. That's the cool thing about being gluten-free is there's always really nice, easy substitutions. Put that over there. And then you want to make sure you get it coated really well. And I'm starting this first because we want to put these in the oven at about 400 degrees. And you want to cook them for, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes and wait until they're really dried out.
Put some of this on.
Not yet, that's for later. We're actually going to talk about some label reading tonight because we have some ingredients that it's important to pay attention to sodium. So you get it coated like that and make sure all the pieces are coated. And you can, by the way, season this with anything you want. You can season it with garlic powder, a liquid smoke if you wanted. What else could you put in here that would be interesting? You can certainly make it spicier. What?
You make it pan?
I've got one already here. And last week we talked about parchment paper. I love to use parchment paper because it's really easy to clean your pans. You can certainly use a silicone pad if you want. I tend to use parchment paper. I don't do the dishes, do I, Nelson?
Not usually.
No.
It's usually me.
You do the dishes. So we're going to put this out here.
One of the things I'll mention is kind of interesting while Kim's putting that on the tray is in the game this weekend, for those of you who are football fans, you'll know Tom Brady. But for those of you who aren't, Tom Brady is the quarterback for the New England Patriots. And he's actually plant-based. And he went plant-based because his dietitian slash chef took my father's course, eCornell course, and learned about this and convinced Tom Brady to go vegan. So apparently during the season he's 100%. And then in the off season, he's maybe, I think I had read maybe 90, 95%. He might have a little bit of chicken and fish.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But what's interesting is he said when he went plant-based that he didn't lose any weight. I think he lost two pounds or so. So he was able to maintain his kind of his muscle mass, which a lot of people are concerned about when they go plant-based.
What position does he play?
Quarterback. Yeah. And he's 39 years old. He's going on 40, and he said he feels and plays like he did in his 20s. And if you've been watching him play this season, you know that's true. This guy is amazing. And so now he's feeling so good that he wants to see how long he can play into his 40s.
So we're not that much older than him, just a couple of years.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
So before I go into the next recipe, I'll talk about one of your favorite dressings, which is the blue cheese dressing. One of my favorite dressings growing up as a kid was blue cheese, and I think it was yours too, Nelson. And there's a recipe in both the PlantPure Nation cookbook and the new PlantPure Kitchen cookbook, and I posted it on this Facebook Live. But this is the recipe. I doubled it. We have a lot. And then what I tell people is put a little bit of, this will make it look like real blue cheese. Put like chunks of it.
And it's amazing
This is tofu.
how great this dressing tastes. When you pair this with the cauliflower bites, it's so delicious. And
so these are green onions, but you can put anything green in there. You can put parsley. Yeah, you can stir it, Nelson. You can put parsley. You can put chives. You know, anything you want. And this particular recipe will last about 5 days. Yeah, any creamy dressing that's got cashews in it or tofu, I would say about 5 days. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's what we're going to dip the cauliflower bites into. And the next recipe is my favorite because every time we go out to a restaurant, I always want to order spinach artichoke dip. Always. But I never do because it's all cheese.
And I just can't take it. I got to take a bite while you're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it good? I didn't have any Dijon mustard. This has Dijon mustard in it. Do you notice it without the Dijon?
A little bit.
Yeah, it would be a little bit better with the Dijon. But this has a lot of stuff in it. Vinegar, it has cashews, not a lot of cashews, water, lemon juice, Dijon. Tahini is what gives it that sort of sharp flavor that blue cheese dressing would give you. So we'll go from there, and my camera lady can come over here because we're going to make the spinach artichoke dip. And you need a blender. You don't have to have a Vitamix. I have a Vitamix. I love my Vitamix. But if you don't, what you can do is you can soak the cashews a little bit. If you left out the cashews, this will probably still work because what's going to make it really thick and stretchy is the tapioca. So we'll start by putting our cashews in here. And then I'm going to add 1.5 cups of milk. I'm using soy milk. So we'll put that in there. And this is miso, white miso. I always keep this in the refrigerator. It lasts a long time. You don't need a lot. It adds a really nice flavor, helps other flavors pop. It's salty. So if you're using miso, you don't really need to use any salt at all because this is pretty salty. So put a tablespoon in there. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast flakes. That will give it a really nice cheesy flavor. You can get those in the bulk section at a natural food store. And then onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder. I'm going to put that in there. You can use a fresh garlic if you like. A teaspoon of lemon juice. And then this is interesting. This is tapioca starch. It actually comes from the plant yucca, a yucca root. And this is Bob's Red Mill, I always get that confused, sells tapioca flour. And it's nice because it's a really strong thickener, and you'll see when we start to cook it how stretchy it gets. So we're going to put that in there, and I have 5 tablespoons of tapioca starch. That's really what's going to make this thick and creamy. I think I've got everything else, and then you're just going to blend it. So here we go.
Question. Where can you get the non-fortified nutritional yeast in bulk?
I get mine at Whole Foods. I don't know if it's non-fortified. That's a good question. I don't know. You can get, I know Bob's Red Mill sells nutritional yeast flakes, but that's pretty much the bulk section at the natural food store. Here in Chapel Hill, I go to Weber Street, and they have it there. But I don't know if it's non-fortified. So then we're going to put this on the stove. Do you remember making Play-Doh? Nelson, I know you remember making Play-Doh for the kids. Laura, do you remember making Play-Doh?
Vaguely.
Yeah. This is going to seem a little bit like Play-Doh, and so I want Laura to put the camera on this as it's cooking. I'm going to start it on a little bit below high. This is convection, so it makes a little bit of noise. And it's going to thicken really, really quickly. Around. And when it starts to thicken, it turns into these little clumps. And you're going to think, oh, this is strange, you know, I'm doing something wrong. You're not. Turn it up a little bit. And it happens quickly. The interesting thing about tapioca starch is it breaks down quickly, too. So when you make this recipe, make it as close to when you're going to eat it as possible. You see those lumps? See, it's starting to get those sort of Play-Doh kind of lumps in there. You're not doing anything wrong. It'll keep on lumping. But it breaks down, so it's going to feel really thick in the beginning, but then it will break down and get thinner as time goes on. And I've put it in the refrigerator, and we've had it for leftovers. It's never as thick the next day as it was the day I made it. See, it's really lumpy. I got this idea from a website called, I think it's called It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. Is that right, Laura?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know. And so I adapted it a little bit. See how it's getting like almost like a gelatinous? You could even put this on top of pizza, like a mozzarella cheese. And it's not the cashews that are doing this, it's the tapioca. They're just watching, intensely watching.
Do we need to take cauliflower bites out?
No, they're not quite done yet because they're supposed to be in there for 15 or 20 minutes. So you can see how really, really thick this is getting. So I'm going to turn it down because I don't want to burn it. I've done this for 2 cooking classes now and people just practically lick the bowl. So then we're going to take, don't move your camera, Laura. We're going to take the artichokes, which by the way, it's really hard to get canned artichokes that aren't high in sodium. This was the lowest one. So what you can do if you're buying artichokes and they're in brine, you can rinse them really well. You rinse them, it gets a lot of the salt off that way. You really don't need any salt in this.
Here's a question. Is there a good substitute for nutritional yeast in recipes? My family doesn't like the taste of it at all.
Yeah, I would just leave the nutritional yeast out. I wouldn't say there's a substitute if you don't like that flavor. It's kind of a distinct flavor. I would just leave it out. Sometimes I feel like the nutritional yeast adds a little bit of a salty flavor, but you could put miso paste in and try that. I'm going to turn this off because it's cooking up really quickly. And that's your spinach artichoke dip. Okay, Laura, you can go over there and put the camera on Dad because I'm just going to play this now.
So is it going to take a few minutes? All right. Well, what I'll do while she's working on that is just maybe give you a couple of quick updates on PlantPure. We've been working really, really hard at PlantPure on finalizing changes to our product line, and also we're going to be adding 10 new products. And I've talked about this before, but we're making lots and lots of changes. We have a really good co-packer now, fantastic co-packer, and I'm just so excited to launch this new product line in March and April. By the way, thanks to everyone for who bought some of our meals here over the weekend and this week. I had put out a letter saying we had to liquidate our inventory, and we had a huge response. And so we really appreciate that. We know that what's coming is going to be a lot better, but we appreciate you helping us out here. These revenues are what sustain PlantPure, so we couldn't do it without that. The other thing, today I was working on an article for Naked Food magazine for the spring issue. And by the way, if some of you have not subscribed to that magazine, please do so. Go to Naked Food. I think it's nakedfood.com.
Yes, but you know, I love that magazine. I didn't tell you this, but for a long time when I was looking at Naked Food, I love the articles, I love the recipes. If you're whole food plant-based, that's a great magazine. Not just because we're involved in it, but because it's really good articles.
Yeah, Margarita, who started that's done a fantastic job with the magazine. It's really beautiful and great content. And the subscription is free. So go to the website and sign up for that.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to get into stores?
Yes, actually, we're going to be presenting our products to some retailers in late spring. They're waiting. Oh, the other thing I should mention is we're developing retail packaging for all of our products, so we can sell into stores, beautiful retail packaging. And we're also developing biodegradable and fully recyclable shipping materials. So it's going to be really environmentally friendly. And we're moving as well to a partner that's very energy efficient. So, anyways.
So you're not going to have styrofoam packaging.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
But the article I was writing today for Naked Food magazine is in reference to an idea that we want to float out there. So you'll be hearing some more about this. But we're thinking about holding a PlantPure convention either late this year or early next year. And the purpose of the convention will be to draw people together, not just from the plant-based community, but even from the environmental community and social activists and people concerned with animal welfare and various groups. And we'd like to, maybe have a day or two where we have speakers, and not just, again, kind of the traditional plant-based speakers, but including maybe an economist and an environmentalist, and again, maybe a couple community activists. And the idea would be to really broaden this idea, because I think that we have an opportunity to integrate this into a bigger political framework, a bigger political ideology that I think could help to unite people of different persuasions. Yes.
Where will the convention be?
Oh, where will it be? We're not sure yet.
Durham, North Carolina. We're not going to fly anywhere.
No, we're not.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, we're not sure yet, but we want it to be someplace convenient. But I think we have the ability to draw a lot of people and to fashion a political message that people are really crying out for. I know there's a lot of division in our society, and I think that the reason for that is because we're looking at kind of the fractured pieces of a bigger truth, and we need to figure out how to put those things together into a new framework that I think could help pull people together who are, presently arguing and bickering, and we've got to do that if we're going to solve the problems that we have in our world. So
we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how we go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so stay tuned for that. And that article will be coming out in the spring. Again, go subscribe to Naked Food Magazine. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, you should do that too. You can do that at plantpurenation.com.
I think there's one. Is there one coming out tomorrow?
Maybe tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah, sometime.
Maybe Monday.
Sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take these out. I think they're done enough for you to get an idea. Yes, they're done. Nelson, you can try that spinach artichoke. So
Yeah,
I made some bread today, and this is the whole wheat no knead bread from the PlantPure Nation cookbook. I make this a lot. It's very easy. You don't have to knead it. It doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, you have to be home to let it rise and let it cook, but you don't have to fuss with it or do anything with it. So one of the most common questions I got when the first cookbook came out was, what kind of sauce what kind of buffalo sauce? Because if you go by buffalo sauce, most of it has butter in it and oil in it. So I wrote to a lot of people. This is what I use. I use Frank's Red Hot Original. There is a Frank's Red Hot Buffalo, but I wouldn't recommend it. It has oil in it and it has butter. But this one, I don't have my reading glasses on right now, but it has pretty much vinegar. It does have sodium in it.
Red peppers, vinegar, salt, water, salt, and garlic powder.
Right. So, I guess you just have to be mindful of how much you're going to use on that. And so then I just get a brush like this, and I go through and I brush each one. And that takes a little bit of time, especially if you don't want to use a lot. I mean, I've been known to do this, to just pick it up and dunk it right in. You can do that too, whichever's faster. But maybe we'll just do that tonight since it's faster. If you wanted to,
You could grab those to show what just the
yeah,
finished
show them
product
what they
looks
look like
and
now.
we can
So
finish
that's
that
a
up
good
later.
idea.
Yeah, so this here is the finished product. And
It actually looks like buffalo wings. So the funny thing is, when we were looking at these, when we were looking at what we were going to put on the front cover for the PlantPure Nation cookbook, your dad thought that those looked rather unhealthy because he thought they were fried.
yeah.
And they do. They look like they're deep fried, but they're not. They're baked.
That's what's amazing about this food is, again, this mimics the flavor, this with the dressing of chicken wings and buffalo wings. And you can even have the celery to go along with it. And then you've got this here, which is so creamy and delicious, and it's all plant-based. There's no added oils.
No.
The most processed thing in here is some of the tofu. And that's it.
There's no tofu in that.
Well, there's no, okay,
No,
no
it's
tofu.
just milk and a lot of tapioca starch and seasonings.
Just in here.
Yeah.
And then in the dressing, there is tofu in there, but it's only just what you saw me put in there. And there's about 2 tablespoons of cashews in there.
So I'll demonstrate how you eat this because that's really, really important. So you dip it in there like that.
That's good.
This is an
Spicy?
appetizer, but I could eat it for dinner.
Yeah.
This could be my entree.
So what else are we going to have for Super Bowl Sunday, Nelson? We're going to have these 2 things. And then one of my favorite foods is pizza. So we'll probably have pizza or chili, but most likely pizza. I don't like football, so I just really watch the commercials and make the food. Question?
What about cooking the buffalo bites in the air fryer? Have you tried that?
No.
May
I
make
wanna-
them more crunchy.
Yes, I want to hear about that air fryer. I've been talking to you about an air fryer.
That could work, yeah.
Tell me about the air fryer. Do you like it? Because I love French fries, but of course I don't eat French fries anymore. I bake my French fries. So I was wondering, do they use oil in an air fryer? I thought they used a little bit of oil, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would probably go nice in an air fryer. But then after you get done coating them, I'm going to put them back in the oven one more time, and I'm going to cook them up really crispy. And I have the temperature on about 400. And that's
No oil in the air fryer.
no oil in the air fryer. And does it make things really crispy? I'm wondering. I don't know.
Okay.
So is there anything else we want to say about these recipes? I mean, there's a lot of recipes in both cookbooks that you can use as appetizers for Super Bowl Sunday, and just lots of fresh. You saw me put the spinach in here. Anytime you can incorporate more vegetables in a recipe.
You know, what I would do on Super Bowl Sunday is have some of your friends over who've been skeptical of eating plant-based
Yes.
and serve them this food. Because we've had a lot of people who are not plant-based who eat this and just love it.
Mm-hmm. And when I make pizza, I sometimes put a little bit of ricotta cheese on there from the PlantPure Nation cookbook. I don't really feel like you miss anything. In fact, sometimes I think the flavors, because we're working so hard to build flavor, is almost better with plant-based because you're using a variety of vegetables and spices and seasonings.
I wish I could reach through the camera and give you one of these, but you'll have to make them. Yeah.
Are you doing any cooking classes in our area anytime soon?
So that's what I was going to say. There was somebody that was coming on our Facebook Live, and I'm home from Florida right now, and there's a group in Raleigh that wants to do some cooking classes. So yes, please reach out to me. You can message me on PlantPure Chef. I have a Facebook page called PlantPure Chef. So message me. Maybe we could get a group together here in Chapel Hill, Durham area, Hillsborough. It would be really fun to have some classes. So definitely message me if you're interested in doing that. So
I've already eaten
Alright.
a third of that.
I know. Once you have one,
he's already eaten half of them.
because also it's a little bit hot, so you have to have another one and another one. So that's what happens when you eat something like this.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. And I made a mistake on those. I cooked them with whole wheat flour instead of pastry flour, and they were really good. So.
All right.
One more thing. Next week, I know everybody's expecting a cooking class every Thursday night. Next week, Nelson and I will be in Philadelphia at the PlantPure Cafe,
Yeah.
and so we won't be here. I'm not sure we're going to do a Facebook Live on Thursday night. Actually, I know we're not going to do one because Thursday night we're going to be at the restaurant. So
No, we're not. Thursday night.
Well, anyways,
Yeah.
I may do a Facebook Live while we're down at the restaurant.
okay,
It'll
that
be
would
fun,
be
so
good.
everybody can kind of see what's going on in
Yep.
Philadelphia.
And I should point out that that's our grand opening for PlantPure Cafe. So we're going to be up there. We're going to be with our good friend Fernando Peralta, who's leading all of that, and we're going to do a grand opening on Saturday.
In Philadelphia, so
So-
if you're in that area, we would love to. I have cookbooks I'm bringing, and Nelson and I will be there, and it'll be a really fun event. So I hope you guys, if you're in Philadelphia, stop by. So there won't be a Facebook Live next week, but the following week we have a couple of guests coming on too.
Unless we do one at the restaurant.
We might do one, but
Yeah.
not Thursday night. Some people
Yeah.
expect a cooking class
Okay.
Thursday night. So thank you for joining us, and we'll go back and try to answer your questions later. We put all of these videos on the PlantPure TV YouTube, and you can upload them that way. And all the recipes are on the post as well. So
And these
thanks for-
recipes are in your cookbook, right?
This one is not, but it's on the link.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, that's maybe for the next cookbook, a long ways out.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks
All right.
for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.